Here we are. We made it. We're in a new grooming salon. Guys, I am so happy to have you here with me tonight. This is going to be great. All right, so first things first, let me introduce myself. If you're new here, I want to say welcome. There's a little bit of an echo in this salon, isn't there? Well, there won't be once I get all my cabinets in. They're not all in yet. Some of them are in, but not all of them. So, I am Amy Lee, certified professional pet groomer since 2003, but it is absolutely my pleasure to share with you the secrets of the pet grooming industry so you can provide the same level of quality care to your beloved pets at home as I provide to the client pets that I groom in my grooming salon. And one of my goals here on this YouTube channel is to bring a new voice to the grooming industry, a new voice. That is a voice that includes pet owners, you, as valuable consumers, and not just pet groomers. With so many people seeking knowledge in order to groom their dogs at home themselves, and they're finding that they enjoy it very, very much like a hobby, working with your own dog, it's wonderful. As long as you learn those safe methods, and that's what you're here for. Having a place to learn proper dog grooming techniques and receive professional advice on tools, products, and where to get them is essential. That's why I created this YouTube channel for you and your pets. Welcome to Go Groomer 2024. Here we are. We started this in 2018. It's 2024. Welcome to my new grooming salon. You guys are here with me tonight. This is great. This is the first time. Happy New Year to you, friends. Happy 2024. This year is going to be a great year for us, sharing and learning all about dog grooming methods, tools, techniques, products, and equipment. And I'm so excited to continue on this dog grooming journey with you and your pets. It's going to be great. And a new place. Look, that should be me up there grooming dogs. Back there. So that TV that I put on the wall is going to come in handy, especially when I make my regular videos, not my live streams, my regular videos. So if I want to pull something up on screen and, you know, show like a product or something, I can do that in a video while I'm working on the dog. So it's really going to add a new element to our videos, and I can't wait to take my videos to a new level. I love creating the videos, the dog grooming learning videos that I create for you. I love doing it. It is so much fun. So I'm just trying to, since I built this shop from nothing to what it is and what it's going to be, I got to make all these decisions. And as I was building this shop, I am also not just a dog groomer, but I am a influencer who teaches dog grooming on YouTube. So I wanted to build the shop around that, you know, lighting, sound, just ease of use, complete ease of use in this studio / grooming salon. So it's definitely going to up our game when it comes to videos. So I'm so excited to see you guys. I've missed you. It's been like a month, right? Okay, I apologize for that. But I'm back and I'm stronger than ever. No worries. Tonight's topic is common injuries during dog grooming. Oof. This is a video well overdue, isn't it? Well, of course, there's many ways that we can injure our dogs during dog grooming. And I don't mean like terrible injuries, but although that can happen. So I don't want to deny you the thought that terrible things cannot happen when you're grooming. They can. But sometimes, you know, just minor injuries, but it upsets us. It upsets the dogs. And we want to learn how to avoid those little things so that we can always keep our grooming sessions pleasant and pleasing to the dog especially, and for us as providing the care to the dog. So in this video, we're going to discuss the many ways that you can injure a dog while grooming. Many of the ways that the dogs can become injured during grooming sessions are often not realized until it's too late. So they're just some little oversights, okay? And I want to bring that into the light for you tonight. I want to shed light upon those small little things that we may overlook that could cause an injury to our dog that we may not even realize could cause an injury. So this is going to be a good video, and I can't wait. And I want you to avoid these mistakes. That's why I make these videos. So this video is going to help you and the pets that you groom. It's going to help you enjoy safe, successful grooming sessions. That's what it's all about. So let's go. Let's do it. The first thing I want to talk about is brush burn or razor burn. Okay, they are two different things, but they're similar. So let me talk about that. So this is a way that you can actually injure a dog and cause some discomfort or pain to the dog. Many dogs do have sensitive skin. Whether they have sensitive skin or not, you can still cause brush burn or razor burn. Okay, so let me say that. So many dogs have sensitive skin, and you really at times don't have any way of knowing that unless you're working with your own dog, where you really know your dog, you know, you really understand their skin. But sometimes as a groomer, or if you groom other people's dogs and you're not a groomer, you might groom your dog, your brother's dog, your sister's dog, or whatever, you may not know the dog as well as they do, and they could have very sensitive skin. Now, repetitive brushing in the same area, whether the fur is matted or not, it can cause the skin to have what's known as brush burn. And it looks like red rash, little red dots. That's what brush burn looks like. And it's caused by brushing over and over again in the same spot. So I always tell you guys, when you're brushing, you want to brush and move, and then come back to that starting point. Brush and move. So you're not repetitively brushing in the same area. And sometimes you may be applying a little too much pressure and the dog doesn't have any way to tell you. Now we do know we do need to get to the skin when we brush, because we're brushing from the skin out. Otherwise we're never going to prevent mats. So brushing takes practice. Be patient with it and learn. The perfect way to start working with your dog is to start brushing your dog, not just going on full-on grooming with your dog. Don't go there yet. If you're just starting to work with your dog with grooming needs, start with brushing and become very good at it. And then it really sets the pace for your whole groom to be successful if you're good at brushing. So brush burn is a real thing, and it can be painful. And after a dog endures a little bit of brush burn, which basically is kind of would feel like a rash to a dog, it burns, it itches, they're going to work at it, because they're like, oh, something's wrong here, you know, this isn't right. And they're going to work at it, and they're going to rub it on the floor or whatever and cause it to be worse. So brush burn can start out as something so minor and turn into something major. Okay? So I wanted to tell you about that. Now the second thing, it's razor burn and brush burn we're talking about in this particular segment. Clipper burn, I call it. Razor burn, clipper burn, same thing. This happens when you're using a blade length that trims very close to the skin. This can also happen if your clipper blade gets hot, okay? And all detachable blade clippers, you know, where the blade just pops off and it has a little blade release, that's a detachable blade clipper. A Wall KM10 is a detachable blade. An Andis AGC, is it? AGC 2-speed, that is a detachable blade clipper. Your Raptor, your Oster makes plenty of them. Your Heininger makes a detachable blade clipper. So when the metal blades, that's a detachable blade clipper. They can get very, very hot. And that can burn the skin of your dog. It really can burn them. But that's not clipper burn or razor burn. I wanted to talk about that while I was mentioning razor burn. I wanted to talk about the fact that the blades get hot. Always check your clipper blade periodically against your own skin throughout the grooming session, throughout one single grooming session, to see if the back of the blade that rides along the dog's skin is hot. Always check for that. So if it is hot, now this isn't razor burn. I just went off on a new subject. I do that a lot, but we're still talking now. Now I'm telling you about burning a dog with a hot blade. We'll get back to razor burn. If the blade is hot, use Andis Cool Care. Andis Cool Care, that will cool down your blade. Or you can switch that blade out for a second blade that's cool, that's not hot. So if you're trimming with a 7 blade and you have 2 7 blades, trim along, you feel the blades warming up, take it off, put the cool blade on. Keep trimming. By the time that one warms up, the other one has cooled. You can switch them out again. You want to make sure your blade's always cool. Or you can use Andis Cool Care. which I have linked in the description below for you. I think I might have forgotten that one. If I did, I will link it after this video is live. But it's called Andis Cool Care. You can get it anywhere. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Groomer's Choice. You can get it at Ryan's, Pet Edge, all of our favorite places. Okay? Our next Live from the Grooming Table live stream is going to cover in detail, showing you exactly how to cool, clean, and care for your dog grooming clipper blades, as well as other things too. So I will link the Andis Cool Care for you when this is, because I know right now that I forgot it. I just remembered I forgot to link that one. You're going to want to keep that on hand for sure anytime you're giving a dog a haircut. It cleans, cools, and lubricates your blade. I do often like to go back in with a little clipper oil between every use of a blade anyway, because that is made to keep the blade lubricated. Now, let's get back to razor burn. Remember I said razor burn, clipper burn. It's different. Razor burn is different from a burn that the clipper would have from a hot blade. Razor burn happens when you're using a short blade, like a 10, 15, 30, or 40, okay? Those are short blades. You remember I always tell you not to use anything shorter than a 7 on the body of a dog? Okay, well, our sanitary areas, we have to go for a 10 blade, okay? We know that. So razor burn can happen when you're using a short blade, such as a 10, 15, 30, or a 40 blade. And what it does is it irritates the skin. It's a close clip. Just like, you know, sometimes when your husband's shaving his face, he gets rash, irritation. It's razor burn. And dogs can get it too from that short blade length, okay? So you will probably not notice the irritation immediately as you're grooming, but usually after you finish your grooming session, you will notice that the dog is licking an area of their skin or rubbing their butt on the floor because, you know, you trim around the bum with a 10 blade. That's an indication that there might be a little bit of razor burn or just slight irritation that can turn into something that they're going to get irritated even more by working at it, by licking it or rubbing it. So if you notice this, you must immediately, you have to do this immediately, use a product such as Skinworks to soothe and calm the skin. And this will stop the irritation and it will prevent a terrible skin infection as a result of razor burn. You don't want that. So you want to reapply if you do feel that there's some irritation or possible razor burn. You want to keep reapplying that about every hour for the rest of the evening or the rest of the day if possible to keep the healing process in effect. And if you're a groomer, you can send some home with the pet parent and instruct them to do the same thing and how to use it. So I did remember to link Skinworks in the description below for you. It's a great product to keep on hand, and I highly suggest that everybody have it. I always have it in my shop. And I also use it on myself if I get a little bit of a nick from a shear or something when I'm working, so I know it calms the skin. I go for it right away. Razor burn typically happens in the sanitary areas, such as the privates, the stomach, the face, and the rear end of a dog. Therefore, you know, only use a 10 blade, not a 15, not a 30. Only use a 10 blade in those areas and do not apply too much pressure on the blade to avoid razor burn. I prefer to use a 5-in-1 clipper like the Kenchi Flash or the Kenchi Flash 5 or the Joyzy Hornet. Those are 5-in-1 clippers. I prefer to use a 5-in-1 clipper set to a 10 blade in the sanitary areas only, because that type of clipper blade tends to be easier on the dog's skin. It's a whole different type of blade. It's not metal like our detachable blades. And it seems to be more comfortable and a little bit more easier on the dog's skin. So if you have a 5-in-1 clipper, such as a Kenchi Flash or a Kenchi Flash 5 or a Hornet, Joyzy Hornet, not the Mini. The Mini is too short for the privates. Then consider using that in the sanitary areas. That's what I prefer. If not, you have only a detachable blade clipper, then use a 10 blade, nothing else, in the sanitary areas only. Okay, now let's move on to the next little segment. You still with me? Okay, yes, If you guys are going to have questions, I am going to get to your questions afterwards. I love that part of the live stream. So if you create a line in front of your question by holding the dash bar and then type your question, I'll be able to see it. Those are the only ways I'm going to see your question and get you an answer. And I'll scroll back when we get to the Q&A section and I'm going to answer your questions. So you can hold off and put them in later when I'm done going over our lesson. Or you can put them in now and I'll try to scroll up and look for them. But that's the only way I'm going to be able to see your questions. So don't forget, if you have a question, hold the dash bar and create a line in front of it. So the next segment is quicked, overgrown, or broken dog nails. So there's three things that can go wrong with your dog's nails. We could quick it, which is cutting into the blood vessel. They could be overgrown and they can break, and they can actually break the quick too. So let's talk about that. All right, I understand nail trimming can be intimidating. Who disagrees with that? Does anybody disagree with that? Type yes or no. I don't think y'all disagree with the fact that nail trimming can be intimidating. But if you neglect to care for your dog's nails, they are more likely to become quicked, overgrown, or broken. So I got solutions for you. Hang in there. Quicking, what's called quicking a dog's toenail is very scary. It causes the nail to bleed by cutting into the blood vessel inside the nail, which is called the quick. The blood vessel inside the dog's nail. Every dog has a blood vessel inside of their nail. It's called the quick. That's why we call it, I quicked the nail, meaning I cut the quick, okay? That's what quicking means. So every dog has them. It's a blood vessel. Even experts and dog groomers may at times quick a dog's nail. This happens. If your dog has naturally longer blood vessels inside the nail due to not having their nails trimmed often in their lifetime, like it's just not a routine thing, then it is easier for somebody to quick the nail because it's harder to decide where that quick is. So routine nail trims, starting when your dog is a puppy, will train the quick in your dog's nails to be a manageable length, and it won't, the blood vessel won't grow out so long that it makes it nearly impossible to trim much off your dog's nails. So that's the solution, is routine trimming, especially when they're a puppy. That trains the quick when they're a puppy, and it trains it to be a manageable length, making each nail trim easier for everybody involved, but especially the dog. It's very important. If you wait until your dog's nails are overgrown, the nail can be cut. The quick can be cut due to the blood vessel inside the nail growing too long, okay? And if only trained professionals or dog groomers should be trimming your dog's nails if they are overgrown, okay? I do want to say that. I don't want you to put yourself in that situation. We trimmed millions of nails and we're very good at it. We can judge the nail trim better than a novice can. And also we know how to care for the nail if we do slightly quick it and it starts bleeding a little. We already know what to do. All right, so if your dog's nails are overgrown, leave that to a professional. Don't attempt it yourself, as I don't want this to be a traumatic experience for you and your dog. Now, broken or split nails, they can happen from overgrown nails breaking off extremely short or cracking and exposing that blood vessel, the quick. That happens. I've seen it in my salon. I've seen dogs come in with broken nails back so far that the quick, half of the quick is just hanging there, and it could just bleed like crazy at any given moment if the dog nicks it on something. And it's just like, wow. Okay, so it happens. Extremely overgrown nails are just flat out dangerous. So unlike quicking a nail by cutting into the quick, broken nails and split nails need attention only a vet can give, okay? So don't take your dog to the groomer if they broke a nail and it's broke back really far. You have to take them to the vet. This is usually painful for the dog, that if it breaks back that far. If it's untreated, okay, it could lead to an infection too, so you don't want to do that. This is a time to call the vet, if your dog breaks a nail back pretty far. Okay, keep your dog on a strict schedule every 5 to 6 weeks. That way, you know, and you can have their nails trimmed by a groomer. Keep them on a 5 to 6 week schedule, and you're not going to have to worry about any of this. That's the solution right there. But groomers are trained to trim dog nails. We're very good at it. So don't hesitate if you have a breed that you don't feel, you know, you really need a full groom. That you know, if it's just a little short-haired dachshund or something, you're like, I just need the nails trimmed. Your groomer will put your dog on the schedule for just a nail trim every 5 to 6 weeks, no problem. Or if you don't have a groomer, find you one that you like, and that won't happen. So those are injuries, though, that can happen in the salon. Is quick nails, definitely, especially if the nails are overgrown. And it's sad because often the groomer will get blamed for that. You know, the pet owner will come back, and the groomer usually will say, I did cut into the quick slightly on this back left paw. You know, and I just want you to be aware of it, but everything's under control. He should be fine. You know, and the pet owner may think, oh, you don't know what you're doing. It's not true. They're easy to quick when they're overgrown because you know, you really have to just keep taking tiny bits at a time. And sometimes the dogs are pretty wiggly, so it's kind of hard to get it right every time. And slightly quicking the nail is not nearly as painful to the dog as if, you know, you cut it way far back or they break it way far back. That is painful. So don't be too hard on your groomers about that if they every now and then do quick a nail. It's usually just a slight little nick into the quick, and it's going to be fine. So the next little segment here we're going to talk about, this one's interesting, is hematomas. These are injuries you see from dogs exiting a grooming salon sometimes. Well, you say injury, it's not really an injury occurred by the grooming salon, so I'm going to explain that to you. Hematoma usually happens when a dog has tightly matted hair, okay, usually the ears, which restricts blood flow to that area. After clipping the matted hair off the skin, the blood rushes back to that area quickly because it's been restricted, which can cause a large blood bubble under the skin called a hematoma. Okay, hematomas occur often when removing matted hair from the ears of a dog. And if your dog if it results in a hematoma, it does require a visit to your vet for the remedy. So I want you to understand that this does happen, okay? Many pet owners often feel that the groomer caused the hematoma, but the truth is that the matting is the reason the hematomas happened, and the pet parent must become dedicated to maintaining the coat by bathing, conditioning, and brushing to prevent the matting, which will prevent hematomas. So that's interesting, right? I'm not sure if you guys realized how hematomas happen, but they're usually caused by matting, and matting can be so tight to the skin and restrict blood flow. And when that happens, when we release the matting, the blood finally rushes back to the area, and you could get a hematoma from that. I've never caused a hematoma. It happens immediately. When it happens immediately. It will swell. It will swell with blood is what it is. It's never happened to me. Knock on wood. Never happened. But I understand how it happens. I totally understand how it happens. Your dog can get a hematoma as well if, say, they have an ear irritation. Their ears may be infected even. And they shake their head vigorously back and forth, and their ears flap hard, hard, hard against their head. They can pop those little capillaries at the ends of their ears and cause a hematoma. So that's how that can happen too. You may notice sometime you come home and your dog has this bubble on their ear, and you're like, what happened? That can happen. Also, puppies have very sharp teeth, like little razors. Puppies playing, they can cause hematomas because they're play biting, but their little sharp needle teeth could poke into the sensitive area. Usually it's the ears that get hematomas. So that's often how that happens. All right, moving on. Next segment is nicks and scrapes with a shear or a clipper. There are many reasons nicks and scrapes happen during grooming sessions. One is working with dogs that are jumpy and wiggly can result in a nick or a scrape. You know, because they kind of move themselves right into the shear or the clipper blade at the wrong angle. Thin skin is easily nicked, and that's often you'll see that with your senior dogs, that they have very thin skin. Senior dogs often have a lot of moles and warts too, which can be nicked a little bit with the blade. So it's very important if you take your dog to a groomer you know your dog very well, to say, hey, Fluffy has a wart on the back of her neck and she has one on her back right hip. And just make them aware of it so they can watch out for that and be very cautious when clipping around those areas. And if the groomer accidentally nicks a wart, like not cuts it, but nicks it with a clipper, it's just such a sensitive area that it will bleed easily, not gushing blood, but it will bleed. So it's very hard not to cause nicking when we're working with dogs that have a lot of warts and bumps. The only way you can avoid it often is if you're using a pretty large size guard comb that's definitely going to be riding way above the wart or the mole or the bump. So it is easy to do though with senior dogs. Their skin is already thin. Grooming dogs that are tightly matted or pelted is risky as well for nicks and scrapes. And on occasion, a nick and scrape can easily happen when removing this neglected matted coat, okay? Because the mats are so tight to the skin that they actually are pulling the skin up towards the clipper blade because the mat is so tight. So it's hard to avoid that when we're working with severely matted dogs. Most professional groomers can totally avoid all nicks and scrapes. I can. And I know most groomers can, because we're very diligent about being very careful, especially if we're working with a matted dog. Then we realize that we're already working with a risky situation. So if you groom your dog yourself, or if you've never groomed your dog yourself and you're thinking about it and your dog is matted, that is not the time to start grooming your dog, because that is probably one of the most dangerous situations where you could put yourself and your dog in if you want to learn to groom, is waiting till they're matted. You don't want to groom a matted dog. It's easy to injure them with nicks and scrapes. And usually the nicks and scrapes are just tiny. They're not a big deal, okay? But they still can get worse if the dog is licking at it or something. So if you do have a nick or a scrape, you want to use the Skinworks to soothe the area, or maybe a little antiseptic wipe and clean it up and just make sure it's healing. Keep an eye on it. But this is why it's so very important to start your dog on a regular grooming schedule at the age of about 10 weeks old. Grooming will simply just become part of their life, and they can learn to trust the process and not become matted. So I recommend everybody start at a young age, 10 to 12 weeks. That's when they start getting in and getting familiar with grooming and the grooming process. And at 10 weeks, they're not going to get a full groom. They're just getting a dose of grooming, just enough to learn to trust the groomer, to work with the groomer, build a relationship with the groomer. By the time they come in next, it's 6 weeks later, the grooming becomes a little more extensive. And by the time they're 4 months old, they're probably about ready for a real big boy or girl grooming. So it's just weaning them into the process. It's what's best for them. Grooming isn't natural to a dog. Not at all, so we've got to teach them about grooming by giving it to them in small doses when they're young. Or if you rescue a dog, you can still wean them into the process of enjoying grooming, but you don't want to throw a matted rescue dog at a groomer for their first groom, if possible, if you can avoid it, because that dog will remember that this was an extensive process. This wasn't fun. They're going to remember that. So the next little segment that I want to talk about as far as work injuries here in the grooming salon is ear plucking irritation. This is good. This is important to talk about this. Ear plucking at times is very necessary. I totally agree with that. The hair that grows inside of the dog's ear can become matted, and it can collect an abundance of buildup, which is then harboring bad things against that sensitive, thin, vulnerable skin inside the ear. Ear plucking requires a trained professional who is familiar with the anatomy of a dog's ear. I do not recommend a novice approach ear plucking. I don't, because you really need to be trained. You really need to understand, and you really need to know the anatomy of the dog's ear, and you really need to be good at it. So a novice, it's not really a job for you. If you're not trained and aware of how to perform this procedure, you could injure or compromise the dog's skin inside of its ear. You don't want to do that. And most importantly, I want you to heed this warning. Are you listening? All right. If the dog's ear is red, itchy, smelly, or secreting a yellow, brown, or green color discharge, do not pluck the ears. Do not pluck the hair inside of the ears, okay? I'll say it again. If the dog's ear is red, itchy, smelly, or secreting yellow, brown, or green discharge, leave it alone until it's in a better way. In fact, half of those things require a trip to the vet. And once you get the ear in a good way, then you can consider plucking the ear. If you pluck the ears of a dog when these things are present, you could cause a major ear problem for the dog that could lead to a lifetime of issues. So that is my best advice that I can give you, is to definitely only pluck the hair inside of a dog's ear if the skin looks healthy and normal. Only. And most importantly, only pluck a dog's ear hair if you're trained professionally to do it. And then it's not a bad thing, okay? It's a lot of controversy surrounding should you pluck, should you not. And when you do pluck a dog's ear hair, say a poodle, they can really grow a lot of ear hair in there. And it can become almost packed to the point where it is unhealthy. So when you pluck a dog's ear hair, you don't have to take everything that's inside of the ear canal out, but you just need to open it up a little bit, okay? Let it breathe. Some of that hair left in there is okay, because it does have a job to do, which is to collect the wax and the buildup. It does have a job to do. But an abundance of it can lead to problems that could turn to problems, ear problems, the rest of the dog's life. Once those ears get mad, they tend to, just recirculate with ear infections constantly. So I would suggest that you only work in an ear that looks happy and healthy, and you must be trained to do it, or stay out of the ears. Just stay out of the ears. You know what I'm saying? It's a very sensitive area. Now let's talk about anal gland irritation. Anal glands is another thing that can result as an injury in the dog grooming salon. We think, how is that possible? Well, let me tell you this. All right, so first, anal glands are little sacs inside your dog's butt. The anus, okay? Inside the anus, right inside the anus. And those glands, those little sacs, express naturally when your dog has a bowel movement. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing for them to express their anal glands when they go to the number 2 and they go poopy. When grooming a dog, it is absolutely not necessary to manually express their anal glands. It used to be a thing forever. They'd be like, groomers have to do this, and groomers felt I have to express every dog's anal glands. Please don't do that. Don't do it, because if you're expressing a dog's anal gland that is healthy and happy and has no issues, these glands are tender. They're delicate. You could damage the anal sac or cause, any type of undue trauma to it, because you're messing with something that isn't a grooming issue at all, okay? You shouldn't be putting your hands inside of a dog's anus if you're a groomer. We take care of everything that's on the outside. Vets take care of everything that's on the inside. So think of it that way, okay? If your dog is showing signs of impacted or full anal glands by scooting their butt on the floor or obsessively licking back there at their behind, then just take them to the vet and have it checked out. That is a vet issue. Any attention to your dog's anal glands should always be handled as a medical issue by a licensed vet. So don't ever expect your groomer to touch your dog's anal glands. And if you're a groomer, stop touching dogs' anal glands. That sounds pervy, but don't do it, okay? It's not your job. It's not. And you don't want to cause undue stress, you know? Now let's move on to eye irritation. This can happen. This can become an injury in the dog grooming salon. The eyes of a dog, they're definitely very sensitive. So you want to avoid getting any shampoo and conditioner in the eyes of the dogs when you're grooming them, okay? Use shampoo that's designed specifically for washing around the eye area of a dog, or hypoallergenic pet shampoo for washing the face, such as Tropiclean Spa Facial or Tropiclean Hypo Puppy. That's safe to use on the face. Most of your hypoallergenic are just pure gentle cleansers, okay? They do clean well, but they're gentle. They're free of dyes, perfumes, irritants. So those are safe to use on the face of your dog, but you always want to avoid never getting shampoo in your dog's eyes, okay? Not a good thing. You can wash around it, pull the shampoo down and run it this way. Their dogs typically going to close their eyes when you're going over them like this. That's what you want. So if you get shampoo in your dog's eyes, be certain to rinse it out with clean, warm water to avoid irritation. And I just touched my glasses and gosh, fingerprints all over. How are you guys doing today, huh? While I clean my glasses. I gotta clean them up. I hope you're doing well. I bet you guys are all so happy to see each other here live from the grooming table. It's been a while, but we're back. We're back at it. We're hitting it. We're hitting it again, aren't we, guys? All right, so now, ways to avoid accidents and injuries. Now my hair is all tasseled. It's in my eyes. I can understand how dogs get irritated. We're always touching them, their face, their eyes, their hair. Of course, my hair has a mind of its own. I think it's its own organ in my body. All right, ways to avoid accidents and injuries. Always practice safe dog grooming methods and use professional tools and techniques. That's the first thing. That's the best way to approach any dog grooming session, using safe, professional methods and techniques and tools. Understand as much about the dog that you are grooming is the first step to success. So understanding as much about the dog. Does the dog have any health issues, warts, mobility issues, or behavior issues? You need to know that. You really need to know that. So talk to the pet parent. If it's your dog, you already know the issues. So pay attention to them and realize that you're going to be dealing with that during your grooming session. Not combating it, not battling it, dealing with it, working them through these issues on the grooming table. Also, inspect the dog's ears, the skin, the coat. Look for bumps, moles, mats, you name it. This is going to help you prepare the best approach for the grooming session before you start grooming. So get the dog up on the table, inspect the dog thoroughly so you can look at areas that you need to be very cautious about, or check out the dog's behavior while they're up on the grooming table. You know, are they hand shy? Which means they're going to be real fidgety, which, you know, could cause a nick or a scrape, which we talked about earlier. Brush, bathe, and condition your dog regularly to ensure good skin and coat health. And this is going to eliminate the possibility of your dog becoming matted. Dogs that are not maintained between grooming sessions are likely to not enjoy the process. Dogs that are matted or an abundance of coat, they're, you know, it's going to be a job for them because they're not maintained often enough. So let's remember, grooming is for the well-being of your dog. And we have to work as a team to keep them healthy and feeling great, us, the pet owner and the groomer. So that's our job. So we're doing this for the dogs, guys. So let's make sure that we're all in and we're committed, and we're going to keep them on a decent grooming schedule that's going to encompass their grooming needs. It's important. Another thing to avoid injuries is to groom in a relaxing, well-lit room. Do things that put you in a calm state of mind, such as listen to music or a positive podcast or an audio book. Put that on in the background. If that's what keeps you calm and happy, that helps set the pace for the dog too. You want to safely secure your dog on the grooming table. When they feel safe and secure, they're more likely to relax and approve of the grooming process. So that's important. Treat your dog, give them treats, treat them after the grooming session, and praise them during the grooming session. Praise them often for their good behavior throughout the grooming session. So if you're, working with a paw and you need to tip it back a little bit, and the dog's just like, go ahead, Mom, do your thing. Because you did that and they let you, say, that's a good girl, Fluffy. Tell them. So send those vibes to your dog when you're working with them. If there's bad behavior, then simply say no, put the foot down, try again. If they start wiggling, pulling, no, put the foot down, try again. Eventually, if they let you, say, yes, thank you, good girl, Fluffy. Change of tone of your voice and everything. They know what it means. So praise them and treat them when they're done. If treat to them is playing ball, go play ball. Let's play ball. Get your ball. Whatever makes them happy. If they did good and it was a success, then reward them for that. They remember that stuff, definitely. And it causes them to associate grooming with a positive thing. And that's what you want. Allow the dog to take regular breaks, or simply just interact with the dog in between the steps of the groom on the grooming table. So, that can be a little break. So we did the clipper work and we're getting ready to do the scissor finishing work. Well, I did the clipper work, put my clipper down before I pick my scissors and my shears up. I'm going to sit and talk to Fluffy for a minute. You're doing so good, Fluffy. You're just such a good girl. That's a break. It's a mental break for the dog. It's a break for you. It's a reset for both of you. So in between those steps of the groom, take 30 seconds. Just take 30 seconds. Talk to the dog. Then go on to the finishing shear. I think it just mentally keeps you and the dog in a good place. So that's a good thing to do when you're grooming. You definitely want to provide non-slip surfaces such as paw mats. I do love the paw mats. I use them on my table, my grooming table. I did link them below in the description, the paw mats. They're easy to use on the grooming table or in the tub. If your dog feels a little insecure in the tub, like he's slipping around, put a paw mat in there for him to stand on. Having a stable place to stand makes them feel secure, like they're not going to slip, and it calms their state of mind. That's important. So I did link the paw mat for you in the description below. It's with Groomer's Choice. They sell them, and you know that I can get you 10% off of anything at Groomer's Choice. You know that, right? There's a code in the description of this video below. So you would use that upon checkout and get 10% off of every order every time if you use my code. So the paw mats are sold because they are like $55. They're big. They cover the whole table. But I can save you a little bit of money on those. So definitely use my code if you're going to buy anything from Groomer's Choice for that matter. I want you to be aware of signs of fear and anxiety with the dog that you're working on. If a dog is showing a sign of this, then just stop the grooming session, calm the dog before continuing on. Sometimes it's best to revisit the grooming another day if the dog is really upset, where they're barking and uncontrolled, like, like they're out of their mind. If a dog's out of their mind, you can't reset that in 2 minutes. You can't do it. So either take a big break, calm the dog down, then get back up on the table. The dog has to be calm. in a calm state when you're working with them, okay? And it's our job to see if they are or they are not, and realize if we can work with them with grooming at the time, or if we need to get them down off the table and reset them by calming them down. Keeping your grooming tools close to you so that you don't have to turn your back on the dog, that's very important. So that's why I love a big grooming table, because I can have my dog on the table and I can have my brush and my comb and my clipper right there. And now it's time for scissor work. I put my clipper on my shelf, grab my shear, put my shear there. It's right there on the table. So keep your tools close to you, but not under the dog or where the dog can step. The dog can cut himself if he steps on your shear. So keep them away from the dog. Your dog can also kick it off the table and knock it all out of whack. It's not going to cut right. You're going to have to send it back to Kenchi or to a good swordsman and have it fixed. But they can fix your shears as long as they're not terribly like run over by a car or anything. They probably can't fix that. So keep your grooming tools close to you on the table so you don't have to turn your back on your dog. Avoid distractions. This is important, and I want you to really consider this. Avoid distractions and loud noises when grooming. They're just as distracting to the dog as they are to you. Distractions can cause an injury. You look up, your shears move, the dog moves because somebody dropped something right above you in a room. You want quiet space, a quiet space when you're grooming. You don't want kids screaming upstairs, having, wrestling matches, all this thumping around stuff. The dog is distracted, they're going to flinch, they're going to move. You can't groom in that situation. You cannot do it. That's how injuries happen. So make sure that you're grooming in a nice, quiet space. It's very important for you and the dog. Be cautious around the eyes of a dog. We talked about this earlier, but I want you to remember how tender that skin is on around their eyes. They're sensitive. Their eyes are sensitive, just flat out sensitive to any products getting in their eyes or anything. So be cautious around the eyes during your bathing, especially when you're grooming a dog, and don't allow those products to get into the eyes. That can definitely cause, there's such a thing as chemical burn. That's from ingredients in shampoos and conditioners. They do vary, but they can burn the dog's eyes. It could really cause damage. So just be careful. And if you do get anything in their eye, most of the products that I recommend to you guys, the shampoos and conditioners, they're about as safe as they get. And those are the products that I like to use. There are a lot of products on the market to bathe a dog, but I always recommend products that are already geared more on the safe side, but yet effective, that clean good. So those are the types of products that I have always sought out and that I have always used to groom dogs professionally or groom my own dogs. And those are the types of products that I recommend to you guys. So if I'm using it in a video, then it's typically already a pretty safe product, which is a good thing. What if a dog grooming injury does happen? What do you do? Well, first of all, you stay calm. Keep a first aid kit on hand, which you want to have antiseptic wipes, triple antibiotic cream, maybe vet wrap. If you get a little cut, you want to apply pressure on it with some vet wrap. These are all cheap and expensive items, but if you're going to groom your dog, I want you to have, I have a little drawer here at my grooming table, so I can have those things handy with me all the time. And you may have a drawer on your grooming table. That's a good place to keep your little first aid kit, the little things that you may need if you nick or scrape a dog or something happens, okay? You want to have those handy. However, what are the signs that a dog may need emergency care? What are those signs? Difficulty breathing, definitely get to the vet, call on the way, we're coming, you got to see Fluffy. Unconsciousness, I shouldn't even have to say that, but yeah, if your dog goes unconscious on the grooming table, don't think, oh, she just fainted, she's okay now. You get her to the vet, something could be wrong. A deep cut or a wound, that means get to the vet. Let's have it at least looked at, okay? Don't guess, is it going to be okay? If the bleeding doesn't stop after 2 to 3 minutes, go to the vet. That's important. So I hope this video has helped you groom dogs safe with confidence. Dog grooming should never be a dreaded process by you or your pets or the pets you groom. Remember that you are the leader of each dog grooming session, and your knowledge of grooming is needed to give the confidence, bring the confidence and the safety to the grooming table to successfully complete the task of grooming dogs. The dogs are counting on us to have the knowledge and the confidence. They're here, they're ready to work with us, okay? But we got to bring a lot to the grooming table. So make sure you are bringing the right things to the grooming table. Your confidence and your knowledge is very important. Now, let's get you some questions answered. What do you think? Huh? What do you think of the new scenes? Now, you probably can't see. Oh, there's a live stream behind me. Well, that's me. This is a playlist, I think. Anyway, I just put one of my videos up. So let me scroll up here and see if there are some questions already in here. I see a few of them. Yes, good. I'm so glad you guys are asking questions because it helps everybody else too. All right, let me just scroll all the way up because I'm going to try not to miss anybody, okay? And we're going to burn through these questions and get you some answers. The first one that I'm seeing looks like it comes from the Dirt Princess. How you doing, Princess? Good to see you today. It says, off topic, sorry, but recommendations on a comb for not long hair, a German Shepherd dog. A comb. Okay, the one you used to recommend seemed always out of stock. Thoughts on a size and teeth? The teeth. For a German Shepherd dog, I would simply mainly use a brush, and I wouldn't use a fine tooth comb on a German Shepherd dog. I would use a slicker brush, and there's many. You can use that Artera flexible slicker brush is a great one. It has a little bit of flexibility at the head of the brush. That's Artero flexible slicker brush. And I would just get yourself your regular Andis dog grooming comb, which is, I think, linked in my, and that's just a dog grooming comb. I got you. It's just a dog grooming comb. This is a fine comb. You don't want that for a German Shepherd. You want something that has a little bit more separated teeth on it to get through. It's a thick coat. And I don't know if you're referring to something to de-shed your Shepherd with. I don't recommend any tools for de-shedding a Shepherd other than the bath, the condition, a comb, and a slicker brush. So the slicker brush is the Artero, and you can get that Andis dog grooming comb. I think it's linked in my Amazon store. My links I put together from Amazon. That would be a good one for your Shepherd, and use the side that has, see how this one has real fine teeth and these are a little more spaced out. You want to use the side that has the teeth spaced out a little bit better because the Shepherd's got a thick coat. And Court Jester, how you doing? Did we just get a super chat? Jenny Sutherland just super chatted $49.90. Jenny, put your wallet away. Who let you in spending money like that? Girl, what are you doing? You are so getting saluted, Jenny. Thank you so much. You are so generous. And you're doing great things with your foster pup. I watch you on Facebook. I am so proud of you, Jenny. So proud of you. Thank you for the super chat. You're very generous. Court Jester had a question. Let me find it. It just jumped away from me. I got you. Okay. Says, oh, I can't wait to see a project I've made for the next Zoom session. But anyway, I think it's probably going to be your avatar. I hope I'm doing well. I am. I was pretty sick after Christmas, guys. Really sick. Like I got COVID and then I got the flu. Bam, bam, boom, just like that. I was like, oh, this is terrible. All better now. Thank you, Court Jester. No problems. And I can't wait to see you in the Zoom. Court Jester's referring to our channel member Zoom sessions, which are once a month here on Go Groomer. If you want to be a channel member, you click the join button. And we meet once a month. We do a live Zoom sessions that's recorded and uploaded to YouTube for members only, and it is an actual lesson. So we're taking dog grooming to the next level in my members sessions, other than what we do here. just a little step above. Some of it's similar, but nothing is the same. We always get, our members get a PDF that I put together, which ends up going into a notebook that they're building, their own personal Go Groomer notebook. It's pretty cool. So if you only join now, we're on like lesson, Court Jester, I think we're like 21 or something, right? We've had a lot of lessons so far, and I call it Sheer Joy with Amy Lee and the Hounds, because it's just sheer joy. And we're on like lesson 21. So if you only join now, you still have access to all those other lessons that you can watch whenever you want. They're all in a playlist. And each lesson has a PDF linked in the description of that video. And you're to download it and print it out. And that's going to create your notebook. So yeah, we just got together 2 weeks ago for the first time. And we're getting together again the beginning of February. So it's a great thing. Tiffany Brown says, what age should a puppy get his or her first nail trim? For a nail trim, I would say, 8 weeks old is when puppies have all their shots typically. So as long as they have all their shots and they're okay to go visit a groomer, then 8 weeks, 9 weeks is okay, as long as they've had their shots. That's important. So as long as they've had all those shots, usually it's after 8 weeks, then they're good to go visit a groomer for the nail trim. You could say 10 weeks though, Tiffany, just to be safe, but make sure they have those shots. Candace says, hi Amy, when to choose dremeling versus clipping? That is typically just a preference. It isn't like, oh, this dog I have to dremel the nails. This dog I have to trim the nails. It's preference. I like using a nail trimmer to trim nails because I'm very fast at it. I'm very good and very accurate with it. I'm good with a Dremel, but a lot of dogs don't like that high-pitched squeal that a Dremel makes. So I used to Dremel a lot of nails in the past, and I just found, just judging, sometimes I would have to still trim them first so that I didn't have to Dremel as much off the nail. I just found it was easier to just trim them with a nail trimmer, and that's what I've been doing. It's okay to Dremel the nails, it's fine. But there's nothing that says, oh, this dog must have its nails dremeled, and this dog, we can just trim the nails with a nail trimmer. It's just preference. Some groomers prefer to Dremel every dog's nails, and that's fine. It's okay. So it's whatever you prefer. The end result is that we're shortening the nail, and that's very important. SVCC Toy Schnauzers, hello, Sean. Says, we do nails once a week. Is that too often? I think I just heard you say to do them about every 4 weeks. Yeah, it is. I feel like it is, Sean. But at the same time, I think it's routine for you because you have quite a few schnauzers and sometimes puppies, obviously. And I think you just had more puppies, so congratulations. But it's not bad to do it once a week, but you're barely going to be able to trim anything. You already know that, I'm sure. There's not going to be a lot of growth in just a week. But it's a good time because they're up on the table and you're inspecting the pads of the feet, because you're trimming the nails. There's good things that come from doing something very often. And that's having your eyes on the dog's nails. Is there any cracked nails? Is there any problems with the nail bed? Is there any problems in the pads of the feet? You would notice all that because you're up close and personal with it once a week. So it's not terrible. I don't recommend it just because I wouldn't say anybody needed to worry about doing it once a week. Like, should I do it once a week? No, you don't have to worry about that. But if you do, it's okay. It's not a bad thing. Just know you can't trim a whole lot off. And I'm sure you know that. So that's a good question. But you take good care of your pups. You know what you're doing, Sean. Janelle says, do you prefer an electric table or a hydraulic table for grooming? I prefer an electric table. But when I started grooming, the price of a hydraulic table was $400 and the price of an electric table was $1,000. So I bought the hydraulic table, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It's fine. They're wonderful. Just the fact that you can adjust the height to me it needs to happen. You need to be able to adjust the height. especially if you're working with bigger dogs, okay? So, but do I prefer my electric table? Yeah, I do. I love it. It makes grooming easier, and I love it. So it's my preference, but not everybody can afford that right away. So don't stress over it. A hydraulic table's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I still have that original hydraulic table. I didn't bring it into this new shop. It's right outside the door in like the waiting area because I don't need 2 tables in here. But I used it all up until this point. I used both a hydraulic and an electric table in my shop. I loved them both. Oh, did somebody forget to put a line? Let me see. Okay, I get you. Hi, I'm new here. Okay, this is Palace Kids. I'm new here. What clippers do you recommend? Is your grooming class video from your YouTube channel combined to make the class? Absolutely not. Or is it something different? Thanks. Looking for maybe to take that class. Okay. No, my grooming course is its own thing. You can't have it anywhere unless you buy it. And it's 12 or 13 lessons. They're broke down. So you don't have to go through it all at once. You have a lifetime access to it. I do have my Learning Center linked in the description below, guys. There's a lot of things there. That my course is there if you want to purchase that. There's some free downloads to help you groom smarter. There's some paid downloads, purchasable downloads to help you groom smarter. There's a lot of things in that Learning Center. So go shuffle through that, shuffle through the links and look for the Go Groomer Learning Center. That's where you'll find my course. No, I would never make somebody pay for something that I give away. No, it's a course for the very beginner. It teaches you one trim. It does not certify you to groom all breeds. It is one trim you're going to learn, and it's called the comfort trim that you can apply to any dog. So it's mainly for home groomers who want to give their dogs a haircut. That's what it's for, but it's very extensive. Extensive. I didn't even say that right. It goes into great detail. How's that? Yes. And your other question was clippers. What clippers do I recommend? I love a couple clippers on the market right now. My favorite is still, I believe, the Wahl KM10. I have to say it. I just love it. The longevity of that clipper, the power, the way it feels on my hand is great. The Joyzy Raptor clipper is fantastic. I have that one too. I do like it, and it compares very much so to the KM10. But something, I don't know if it's just because I worked with the KM10 for so long and loved it, something says, oh, it's still my favorite. But if I didn't have the KM10, and I use the Raptor all the time. It isn't that I don't like it. I do like it. I really love it. And it almost feels identical to the KM10. So those are my 2 favorites. The Raptor, which is a Joyzy clipper, and the Wahl KM10. Those are my 2 favorites. So hopefully that helps you. All right. Candace says, clipping matted ears and clipping armpit areas. Any suggestion? And please, can you do a class on positioning and handling to make grooming easier? I can do a video on that. In fact, I do have many videos of showing you how to work with the dog on the table to get better behavior from the dog as well as comfort. And pretty much in all my videos, I'm telling you why I'm touching a dog the way I am, you know, in the video, what I'm doing with my other hand. So just watch my full grooming videos. Those are the ones that usually go into great detail about how to position the dog to safely trim them. Now, clipping matted ears and clipping armpits. Those areas are tender skin and loose skin. So they're danger zones. That where the ear connects to the head is a danger zone. It's a very thin skin. It can be easily nicked with a clipper, as well as the armpit hair is very loose, thin skin. So when I clean out the armpit, you don't want to apply like any pressure, and you want to contour with the shape of the armpit. And I usually come towards me, not towards the dog's armpit, away from the armpits. Usually the way I do that. And with ears, very important when you're trimming a dog's ears, you want to trim off of the ear leather. So if the dog's ear is round, you would start coming at an angle to go off the side. You would trim straight down at the bottom. You come at an angle, not a hard angle, not a 90, Like you come off the clipper, off the ear, the angle of the ear. And I go over all that in my videos when I'm trimming ears in detail, especially around the ears. So that should help you if you go and look through some of the videos on my channel. Cynthia says, hi Amy, in reference to your grooming schedule and when grooming should begin for a puppy, should the groomer know this first groom is getting the puppy used to the groom? Should we say something? You should probably say something, Cynthia. Not every groomer follows the same rules. You know, like, they're my rules, but not every groomer says, those are my rules. So Cynthia, you know, you talk to the groomer and say, I want to get my dog used to grooming, so when we, you know, get him in at, say, 10 weeks, where you're just trimming nails and giving a bath and a quick blow dry, and then again at maybe 14 weeks, or not 14 weeks, maybe even a little sooner, you know, and trim the sanitary, another bath, the nails were just trimmed, they don't need trimmed, clean the ears. So you can talk to the groomer about coming up with a very personal plan for you and your pet. And it's just going to build a strong relationship between you and your groomer too, because you're working together so closely. And I love that. That's what I want for you guys. Doreen says, what is a good nail trimmer? My favorite nail trimmer for years has hands down always been the Miller's Forge plier style nail trimmer. It has red rubber handles. It is linked in my Go Groomer Amazon choices. So it is linked below. It's always linked there. It's my favorite. It's the best. It's so comfortable. It doesn't make a popping sound. I love it. Okay, let me just scroll here. I'm getting winded. Janelle says, will we be celebrating at 200,000 subscribers? We're almost there. What do we have, 297 now? Well, we'll celebrate, yes, in some way. I will put something together and figure something out for us to celebrate that milestone, because we did it together and it's a big one, 200,000. Can you believe it that YouTube doesn't recognize, like, they only recognize you when you get to 100,000 subscribers, which we celebrated that. Remember, that was fun. And then they don't recognize you again until you get to 1 million. 1 million! That's going to take a while. I don't know if I can keep going to 1 million subscribers. We'll try. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. Yes, Janelle, we'll definitely have fun with that one. 200,000 is a big milestone in my opinion. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way. MB says, what do you do when they have to go outside first thing in the morning, when we don't have time to brush them after they come back in, when they're wet? Okay, so obviously dogs have to go out when we get up in the morning. You can't brush your dogs every time you take them out. You don't have to. Put your dog on a schedule to brush them. Unless they've got a massive amount of hair, then you do have to brush them daily. If they've got like 6 inches of hair, you have to brush it daily. So you have to figure it out. If it doesn't work for you, then you have to shorten the trim, because you don't want them to become matted. But there are times where your dog's going to go out and get wet, and you can't brush him. If you have a manageable amount of coat, it's not going to be the end of the world. They're not going to mat up all over the place. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. Trust me, I have a dog with a poodle coat. I know how matting happens. I know everything about it. I deal with him a lot. But, you know, if you have dog in a lot of coat, you have to be willing to be brushing them every day, or modify the trim into something more comfortable and maintainable for you. And that's fine to do that. Shorten the trim. Doesn't have to be short, but, you know, 1 inch of hair instead of 6 would be like, might be relief for the dog. I don't know. It just depends on what type of breed you have or what you're doing. But yeah, so, you know, if they have a lot of hair, you got to brush them every day. It's just the way it is. Okay, so Luann says, tips on drying with a human blow dryer. I have 2 puppies just right at 1 year old, and I've been grooming them. I've been grooming them until upon arrival at 8 weeks. That's awesome. I just found you. Awesome, Luann. So tips with a human dryer. Definitely use it on low heat. You really can't go with no heat because you'll never dry the dog. But I would use low heat. The sound of the dryer, our human dryer, is loud to them. So one thing you could do is they make something called a happy hoodie, which you can purchase from Amazon. I may have it linked in the description, I'm not sure. It is, I do have happy hoodies linked in my Go Groomer Amazon store. So that's all the products on Amazon that I recommend, or a lot of them. So the happy hoodie, what that does is it goes around and it swaddles over their ears and it dulls down noise. It also makes them feel protected. And because the human dryers are real squealy, real loud to a dog, dogs have definitely a very much stronger sense of hearing than we do. So if we hear it, it sounds annoying. It sounds 5 times as annoying to a dog. So maybe try a happy hoodie and do not use high heat ever, and don't hold the dryer in one spot. You have to keep kind of moving it, because if you hold it one spot, it could be heating up and burn the skin. The dog can't tell you. So just kind of slowly move it. You don't have to vigorously move the dryer. Just slowly move it so it's not focused in one area for a period of time that's going to hurt them. And 199 Brit says, how do you know when you need to sharpen or change your clipper blades? Good question. I'm going to be covering that in our next live stream, so I guess I just kind of gave that away. Caring for your blades and your shears. How do you know? Well, when you're using your shear and you're trimming your dog and you use the action of the shear and it just starts to bend the hair instead of cut it, like it bends it between the blade and doesn't cut it, then your shear's dulled, or it may need adjusted. Sometimes they just need adjusted. Either way, you need to send them to Kenchi. I send all my shears to Kenchi.com. We're going to be talking about this in the next live stream, which is in 2 weeks. I will show you this. I'll give you links to the paperwork that you send along with your shears or blades. They sharpen blades too. Now they can only be detachable blades made for like a Wall KM10 or an Andis AGG, not your 501 clippers. They're not sharpenable blades. You can't sharpen them. So I send them all to Kenchi. That's what I do with them. Your blades is the same thing. When you're going through the coat and it just is like dragging in the coat, your blade's getting dulled. However, it may just need cleaned or oiled, so don't worry, we're going to go over that in 2 weeks. I'm going to show you. Your blade may not be dull, it may just need cleaned and oiled. So those are important things. And I have videos on my channel showing you how to clean and oil your blade. So you definitely want to clean and oil it. If it's still dragging in the coat, like it's not pushing through smoothly, it should always push through smooth like butter. If it doesn't, it's getting dull. That's how you tell. And last question comes from Uncle Sam's niece. Says, hi Amy, is the Joy Z Raptor a corded clipper? I've got a Wall KM10 and I have a Kenchi Flash. But, the Kenchi Flash died, so I had to send it in for repair. I'm guessing the Raptor is a detachable blade. You are absolutely right. The Raptor is a detachable blade. It's sitting right, where's it at? I can't, there, you see it? There's a Raptor right there. Yes, I have the Raptor. I like the Raptor a lot. It's a great clipper. It is a detachable blade clipper like the Wall KM10, and you can get the Raptor in either a cord or cordless version. The corded version is cheaper. Both are great. So yes, it is a great clipper. You can get it. It is detachable blade, so it's a competitor to Wall KM10. But since you have the Wall KM10, it sounds like you don't need it. The Wall KM10 is a fantastic clipper. And I think it looks like your Kenchi Flash had a problem and you sent that out for repair, which is a 5-in-1 clipper. So yes, the Raptor is a competitor to and is comparable to the Wall KM10, and it comes in either a corded version or a cordless, and it's on joyz.com's website. Good question. So guys, a few announcements before we go. Did you sign up for my free weekly dog grooming email newsletter? It comes out every Friday. I give great dog grooming tips in that newsletter. Every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to receive my free newsletter. right into your email inbox if you use the link below to sign up for my free weekly dog grooming newsletter. If you don't sign up soon, you're going to miss this week's weekly dog grooming newsletter too. So you don't get to go back and get all the ones you missed. Once they're gone, they're gone. So get in on that list. It's wonderful. I'm trying to help people through reaching out through email. I really enjoy writing. You guys know that. I love to write. I love to come up with curriculum like for my members. And that's what I do in the newsletter. It's just quick little topics. And I love it. So you'll find that in the description below to sign up. Please do. Channel members, hounds, all you people with the badges beside your names, you're my hounds, you're my channel members. Did you know there is like 400 of you? That is fabulous. Anyway, channel members, hounds, I will see you Sunday, February 4th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our monthly live Zoom session. The topic for that session is what is the difference between brush types and when to use them? It's going to be a great one. You know, your boar bristle brush, your slicker brush, your pen brush. What's the difference? Why are there so many? And do I need them all and when do I use them? That's our topic. If you're not a channel member and you would like to take your dog grooming knowledge to a new level, there is a link in the description of this video where you can become a channel member, also known as a hound, which will cost you $4.99 a month. It's worth more than that. But anyway, that's up to you. I love my hounds. Go Groomer channel members enjoy monthly learning sessions and receive exclusive content and free downloads with every session, every monthly meeting. But there's also content on my channel that is only for members only. Nobody else can view them. It's fantastic. I love it. Our next live from the grooming table, which is what we're doing right now, our next live from the grooming table is scheduled for Monday, January 29th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the topic is how to clean and care for your dog grooming shears, clippers, and blades. That's right. It's going to be a good one. So mark your calendars. Hey, let me help you out. Alexa, remind me that Monday, January 29th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Go Groomer is live. You're welcome, guys. I'm sure your Alexas are all like, okay, got it, yeah. All right, now in closing of this live stream, I'm going to leave you with the Farmer's Dog Super Bowl commercial that touched the hearts of many dog lovers all over the world last year. It was a fantastic commercial. If you would like to receive a free 2-week trial of the Farmer's Dog Fresh Food for your pets, free 2-week trial delivered to your door, please click the link in the description below and your dogs will thank you very much. Guaranteed. If any of your dogs eat Farmer's Dogs out there, if they eat the Farmer's Dog, you know what I'm talking about. So now it's time for the showdown of the Farmer's Dog. I love you guys. I am so glad to see you here in my grooming salon, my new grooming salon, and I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks here in my new grooming salon with some more awesome content. So until then, take care of you, take care of your pets, and long live dogs.
I'll always take care of you.
Slow down. I wanna hold you forever.
Hey, little bear bear.
I wanna love you forever.
Let's not do that again, okay?
Don't worry, darling, about the rest of our life. Through thick and thin, I'll be there by your side. 'Cause when I see those big, beautiful eyes looking into mine, I wanna hold you forever.
To have and to get from this day forward.
You forever.
Come on, Bear.
Yes, I do now. Ooh.
I'm gonna love
Okay, Bear.
Forever.